Hi, this is James Cook of the University of Maine at Augusta, and this video is being shot to demonstrate the use of R in combination with an R package called IGraph to enter social network data in the form of an edge list and to present it in the form of a network graph. So this video is based on two prior videos, which you can look at in my list of instructional videos. The first one is about installing R, and the second is about the R environment, the R console, in which you could type individual commands and in which you get reports about how things are going, and the other window, which you can initiate by heading to File and selecting New Script. This R editor is a script editor. A script is a set of commands that can be used again and again, just like a script in a play or a movie is a set of lines that tell you how the plot is supposed to go. Every command has one line. So I'm going to introduce a little bit of a wrinkle, which is that the neat thing about R, but also the thing you have to pay attention to, is that it's expandable from a basic statistical package. And you can expand from your basic statistical package by adding a package, a new expansion package. And to do that, we'd simply head over in either of the script or the console contextual drop-down menu and select packages. And we could select install packages. When we do that, it's going to ask for some source to get this package from. I'm going to select a Michigan source and move ahead with that. And then it's going to come up with a list of packages. Now I'm looking for the IGraph package because the IGraph package allows me to engage in social network analysis using R. And so I'm going to literally scroll down this alphabetical list until I get to IGraph. Great. And then I'm going to select OK. Now you only really need to install this package once on your own computer. Every time you use a different computer, you'd have to install it again. That's not really very hard. Watch. It's downloading it automatically, and then it's showing a log file that is saying, hey, look at that, it was successfully unpacked, and sums were checked, which means basically it's not a fraud package trying to do anything sneaky. That's great. So now I can begin my script. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is use the command library IGraph, and IGraph is in parentheses. What does that do? Just consider it a magic command. It just says, hey, let's use that package. You have to do that in every script that's going to use this special package. So R knows to go look for it. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to define a network. Let's call it my first network. And there's a little bit of magic here. We're going to have the arrow we've used before, which means the stuff to the right is what the thing to the left is going to mean. But here's what it's going to mean. It's going to mean, it's called graph, and it's going to be a graph of particular edges. So this piece inside the parentheses is the conditions under which we have the graph. So by saying we have graph and then a parenthesis edges, we know we're going to have an edge list. What's it going to be? Well, it's going to be equal to, use an equal sign, C. Now why a C? It means it's a list. This is just what R does. Sometimes you just have to go with what R means, okay? It's referring to a list. And a list of what? A list of nodes. Now we can name these nodes. Why don't we name them Alice and Sam? Okay, and you'll notice here I've put Alice and Sam in quotes because I want the computer to know that they are words that mean just text. They're just names, so I'm putting them in quotes. something called a string, and I'm putting a comma between them to indicate that this is a network in which Alice is connected to Sam. But that's not the only edge I want. Okay, so I'm going to put another comma in between to say, wait, that's not the only edge, here's another edge. The next edge is from Sam, in quotes, and then a comma, and then another quote, to David. I'm going to add another comma to indicate, oh, here comes another edge, and the edge this time is between David, quote, comma, and Alice. And I'm going to put one more in, and that's going to be between Frank, comma, and David. Now you notice I am moving over to the right, it's moving me along with it, and it's shoving the text over. That's okay, I can just go down to the scroll bar here and I can see it all the way over. Now, to the left as well as to the right. What I see here on the left is that I've got two beginning parentheses, and you always have to close off your parentheses, so I'm going to do that. But I'm going to end the list by putting an end parenthesis. Okay, so there's C, and then all the stuff in the parentheses is a list. A list of what? Of edges. We know that from the text. Okay, and this is just the syntax that's used. Just like we know in English, this is the language that you will use to express an idea like, I'd like to have that book, please, period. It's just the syntax you use. Finally, we need to let the computer know whether this is a directed graph, a digraph, or an undirected graph. Are these directed ties or not? So we're going to add finally one more comma outside the parentheses of the C, and we're going to indicate that the option for it being directed is false. If we wanted it to be a digraph, we would indicate directed equals true. If we don't want it to be a set of directed ties, we'll indicate false. Now, I have gone through and decided that I'm going to try to plot my first network. And you'll notice that there's this kind of syntax you should notice. The command is plot, and then what are we going to plot? The thing in parentheses, my first network. And what is my first network? Look at the line above. It's the graph with the edge list. So now I can try to run this, and let's see what happens. I'm going to head to Edit, making sure that I have the script window selected, and I'm going to run all. Super, and there it is. There's my network, and it's even labeled. That's cool. There are other options, we'll consider them later, but that's all you need to do your homework this week. There's one more thing you could do, okay? Right now, if you've got this and you wanted to work with this image, how could you get the image to save and then move forward? Well, you could right-click and you could copy it as a bitmap and then paste it into a Word file or paste it into a graphics program or something like that. There's something else you could do if you wanted to, and we're going to go back to the script network, or excuse me, the script window. You can actually, instead of simply plotting, you can say, let's save it as a graphics file. And the graphics format that is universal to just about every computer device is PNG, Portable Network Graphic. Portable meaning, hey, you can find it anywhere. And let's set a file name, PNG, parenthesis file name equals, what's the name of the file? My first network.png. End quote and parenthesis. And then, hey, let's give it a title. So below plot, I'll then put in the title will be for the plot, that the main title, okay, title parenthesis main equals James Cook's Family Network. End quote and parenthesis, and then a final magic command. It's just what you have to do, dev period dot off, and then beginning parenthesis and end parenthesis. Don't ask me why right now you need to use that. Let's just say it turns the plot off. It turns the graphics generation off and says, okay, go save it to that place. What's the file name? myfirstnetwork.png. Where's it going to save? It's going to save to your working directory, which you can find by clicking on the console window and then edit, and then file, change dir. I know mine it's set to documents right now, but let's set it instead to my professional folder. Okay, so that means that now when I run this, if I go to my professional folder and I look for my first network, look what's there. It's a graphic. And if I click on it to look at it, there it is. It's a file, James Cook's Family Network with the network in it. It's all ready to go. It's ready to upload. And that's your work for this week. Why? Because I want you to have that initial success in creating a network graph. In future work, we will think about different ways to enter network data, and we'll think about different ways to visualize, to draw networks using R. But as you can see, if we look at this script, it's only 6 commands. They're really relatively simple, and once you get the hang of it and make sure that you type exactly as you need to, it's not that hard. You'll get the hang of this, and in no time you'll be an R programmer. Best of luck, and if you run into trouble, make sure that you have everything spelled exactly right. If it still's not working, please get in touch with me and I'd be glad to give you a hand.